You want some great value bourbon without breaking the bank? Stick around. We've got 5 options between $50 and $75 that you are sure to love. Hi, I'm Tim from Elma Wine and Liquor. Before I jump into today's video, I'd like to ask you to take a second to hit that like and subscribe button on this video, just so that you can stay up to date on all of our future videos. But today I have 5 bourbons between $50 and $75 on the shelf that are sure to satisfy your palate and or provide an awesome gift if that's what you're going for. Just a caveat, I am filming this in April of 2025, so prices are bound to change over time. Some of these might have been on the under 50 video not too long ago, but right now they're hovering in that $50 to $75 range, and all are awesome products that I will jump into now. First up, we have New Riff Single Barrel Bourbon, which is currently sitting on the shelf at $54.99. This is a single barrel store pick bourbon. There is another video out there on our channel about the store picks and the process we go through to buy those. But $54.99 for a store pick is an incredible value right now. New Riff is not necessarily a new distillery anymore, probably about 10 years now, in Kentucky, doing a great product. This is high corn, but also high rye. I believe there's about 35% rye in this, and then some malted rye on top of that. It's one of the things that I love about New Riff. Their single barrel ryes are even better than their single barrel bourbons, but their single barrel bourbon has that nice little spicy note from that high rye content. Non-chill filtered, which means that they don't chill the whiskey before they run it through filtration. When whiskey is chilled before filtration, some of the oils and richness from the tannins in the oak congeal and then get caught in the filtration. When they do a non-chill filter, then run it through the filtration hot and warm, it doesn't pick up as much of those oils. And so when you take a sip of a non-chill filtered whiskey, it coats your mouth and it helps those flavors linger a lot longer. I personally love it. The only downside, and one of the reasons that whiskey manufacturers for decades and decades have been using chilled filtration, is that if you have a glass and you throw an ice cube in it, sometimes those oils will congeal around the ice and it just looks cloudy or it looks bad. And so manufacturers were concerned that consumers would think less of the product if they saw that happening. But the non-chill filter is the way to go when you can get your hands on it. Next up, this is another newer company on the market, Penelope. This is their Rosé Cask Finish Bourbon. Delicious product, comes in at about 94 proof, I believe. Yep, 94. So a little bit lower ABV, easier drinking, kind of a light texture. It is a 4-grain bourbon, really high corn, some rye, high corn, wheat, rye, and malted barley. They then take the bourbon after it's been aged in new American oak barrels and put it into Grenache rosé casks that were used to age some rosé wine. What ends up in the bottle has that typical bourbon characteristics, but imparted with a light berry floral notes to it from the rosé that just make it a very refined sip of bourbon. And like I said, because of that little bit lower proof point for bourbon, makes it a nice, easy drinker. Next up, we have Old Forester 1920 Prohibition style bourbon. Old Forester has been around for a very long time, back to the 1800s. They were one of the few distilleries that operated right through Prohibition because of their license to produce medicinal whiskey. Yes, in the 1920s, whiskey was considered a medicine, back in the good old days. No, I'm just kidding. But this operation continuously ran. Fun note about Old Forester as well, they were one of the first distilleries to start using bottles and sealed bottles to distribute their whiskey. Back in the 1800s, I'm sure you've seen the old Western movies with the bartenders that somebody orders a whiskey and they turn around and they fill up a bottle from the cask right behind the bar. The big barrel of whiskey sitting right there. It was very common back then. They couldn't be shipping glass bottles across the plains country out west in glass bottles because that rickety wagon was going to shatter them all. So in shipping it anywhere, really, there wasn't great transportation system. So the distilleries would ship the barrels. So bars, restaurants would buy whiskey by the barrel, but also pharmacies would. And that's important to remember, like we just talked about. That's why Old Forester was operating right through Prohibition. And so pharmacists were, handing out prescriptions of whiskey to people. And what was happening in the bars and in the pharmacies was after the pharmacist or the bartender would pull off the first couple bottles of whiskey, they would go up and refill the barrel with some water and make their product extend the life of it a little bit longer. And after some time of doing this and using a little bit more and putting more water in it, the customers weren't really getting the true product. So the people at Old Forester said, you know what? If we put our product in the bottle and seal it, our customers are going to know that they're getting the real thing right from us and not have to worry about what other products or watered down things they're going to get at the bar or at the pharmacy. So back to the actual whiskey. This is $67.99 on the shelf right now. It's a little bit under $70. It is 120 proof, so higher proof point, which is one of the reasons that the price goes up on it a little bit. Thing that I like about higher proof whiskeys is, first of all, when you sip them neat, it gives you huge, robust flavors. You get all of the true flavors. Remember, when whiskey's aging in the barrels, that's the proof point it is. It's in the 120s, 130s sometimes. So when it comes out of the barrel, in order to get it down to that 94 or 92 proof point, they're just adding water. So you taste it right out of the barrel, the way it was meant to be, the way it came out of the barrel, you get that full, rich flavor of it. If you really don't like it, if it's too hot for you, you can add your own water. Add an ice cube or two. Let it melt. Then you get it back to where it would normally be. It stretches a little bit further. I know I sip on 120 proof bourbon a lot slower than I do on an 80 proof vodka. So 120 proof, just great, robust, rich. They don't have an age statement on it, but something fun to try. It's a little bit different than a normal Old Forester bottle. And I'm going to stand corrected. It's not 120 proof. It is 115 proof, as it says right on the label there. Next up, we have Woodford Reserve Double Oaked Bourbon. Woodford Reserve is a big brand. You may have heard of them. They're usually one of the top sponsors of the Kentucky Derby every year, so they're all over the TV during that day. But the Double Oak is a little bit of a different product. It gets aged, as all bourbon does, in a new toasted American oak barrel, or new charred American oak barrel. The distillery doesn't say exactly how long the distillery doesn't say exactly how long the whiskey spends in the first barrel, but estimates are about 6 years. After that, they take the bourbon and they dump it out into another brand new charred American oak barrel. It spends another 6 to 12 months in that barrel. Now, what that is doing is doubling the amount of fresh oak that barrel of whiskey is exposed to. When it goes into that first barrel and it sits there for 5, 6, 10 years, whatever the bourbon is doing, that level of oak never changes. It has the one barrel that it sits in. When it goes into a second barrel, it gets another whole level of that exposure to new charred oak. So it intensifies the flavors that the oak imparts on the whiskey. You get a nice richness to this. I find that they tend to be a little bit sweeter, more vanilla, from those barrels. Sometimes people say buttered popcorn flavors from it. Just a whole different element from a regular whiskey that only spends time in one barrel. There's other brands that have a double oak product on the market, including Old Forester, but not this one, but other products. Definitely worth a try sometime. At $63.99, this Woodford Reserve Double Oak is a fantastic value in that $50 to $75 range. Next up, we have Four Roses Small Batch Select Bourbon. So Four Roses Distillery has been around for a very long time. They are in Kentucky, as a lot of distilleries are. Best known for their yellow label shelf bourbon, which is an incredible value for a low dollar amount, makes great cocktails. Four Roses is unique in that they have 10 different recipes of bourbon that all age separately. And to make their standard yellow label bourbon, they take all 10 of those recipes and blend them together. Those recipes are a couple different mash bills with a couple different strains of yeast that get rotated around. The Small Batch Select, they only use 6 of those recipes and blend them together. They bottle this at 104 proof, so it's a little bit high. It's higher proof than their normal shelf product or their normal yellow label. And it is non-chill filtered. So that non-chill filtration really coats your mouth with the oils, makes the flavors linger. And this particular blend of those 6 recipes is really unique, great flavors, and something that I'm very partial to is a hint of mint at the end, which just kind of, for me personally, is a great finishing note on a bottle of bourbon when I'm in the mood for it. So definitely worth a try. Cool bottle, cool product, just very unique and delicious in that $50 to $75 range. And because 5 bottles of bourbon between $50 and $75 isn't enough, I'm going to throw in a 6th bonus bottle, which comes in at $64.99 right now for us, and that is Yellowstone Bourbon Store Pick Single Barrel. So we've covered single barrel store picks in past videos. I mentioned that this new riff is as well. And I'm not just talking about our store pick. We have done 4 single barrels from Yellowstone at our store over the last 4 years. All have been outstandingly delicious. This particular product, there are other stores around the country that are buying these for their stores and their restaurants as well. These are barrel proof, which is a little bit of a white lie. They do water them down slightly. This particular one is 109 proof. We've had other ones at 115. This product is only sold to stores as single barrels if you go to the distillery to pick it out yourself. I have sat with the owner, Stephen Beam. I've sat with other people in the distillery to do our picks. They take great pride in their product. It is a very small operation. They make amazing whiskey, and they want store picks to be picked there, the barrel proof ones, so that we can share that story a little bit. The fun thing about what they do is, as I've mentioned in other videos, they generally, distillers will pick 3 different barrels, have 3 different barrels for us to choose from. With Yellowstone, because they're barrel proof or high proof, they take each of those 3 barrels and proof them to 3 different proof points each. And so we're essentially trying 9 different samples at different proof levels, each barrel at 3 different proof levels, to decide on not only which barrel we want, but which proof level we want. And it's often funny because sometimes everybody in the tasting group loves barrel A at the highest proof, and then when we go down to the next proof, everybody loves a different barrel. And then at the 3rd proof, everybody loves a different barrel. So it's an interesting to see how much that proof impacts the taste of the barrel. But you will see these out and about. We sell them at our store. We sell them on our website. We usually have some in stock because we've been buying so many barrels of them. But you'll should be able to find them at your local stores around the country as well. If you see that black and red label on the Yellowstone, definitely give it a second look and ask the store about it and give it a shot. Just awesome notes of baking spices, just rich, heavy, great fall weather bourbon. So those are our 6 bourbons between $50 and $75 to help you stay on budget and get amazing quality. Would love to hear from you guys about what your favorite bourbon is in that $50 to $75 price range. Let me know if you appreciate videos like this. Let me know if you just prefer the less expensive ones, or if you want me to go higher in price point. Gotta let us know if you want to see the videos. So please hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Look forward to talking to you again soon. Cheers.